Have you ever felt trapped in the exhausting cycle of emotional attachment? Like your happiness depends entirely on someone else's presence or approval? That heavy burden, that fear of losing what we cling to, is more common than you might think. But here's the liberating truth. Emotional freedom isn't about losing connections. It's about mastering the art of holding them lightly. Drawing from 2,000 years of Stoic wisdom, this video will guide you through the transformative practice of detachment. Think of it as emotional self-defense, a way to protect your peace without shutting people out. The Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus didn't teach suppression of feelings, but rather the profound strength found in non-attachment to what we can't control. Whether it's a past relationship you can't move past, anxiety about the future, or dependence on external validation, the solution begins with one radical shift. Recognizing that you were never meant to be emotionally chained to anything outside yourself. By the end of this journey, you'll have practical tools to break free from the mental prisons of over-attachment. This isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about becoming unshakably centered. Let's begin the path to true emotional sovereignty. 1. The psychology of attachment. Attachment forms in the subconscious as a survival mechanism. Our brains are wired to seek security in people and outcomes. But when healthy bonds turn into emotional dependencies, we cross into dangerous territory where our well-being becomes contingent on external factors. The Stoics identified this as the root of suffering, mistaking preferences for needs. Modern psychology confirms this through attachment theory, showing how childhood patterns replay in adult relationships. When we say, "I can't live without them," we're not describing love, but fear. Fear of abandonment, of being unworthy, of facing ourselves. Detachment begins with awareness. Catch yourself when you think in absolutes. "I need this job to matter," or "only they make me happy." These are red flags of over-attachment. Neuroscience reveals that the pain of emotional withdrawal activates the same brain pathways as physical pain, which explains why breakups feel literally hurtful. But neuroplasticity also means we can rewire these patterns through conscious practice. Start by identifying your emotional triggers, specific situations where you feel desperate to control outcomes. Then apply the Stoic dichotomy of control. Separate what's truly yours, your thoughts, values, actions, from what isn't, others' choices, circumstances. For every attachment, ask, is this serving my growth or my fear? Like physical therapy for the soul, regular detachment exercises strengthen emotional resilience. The goal isn't to stop caring, but to care from a place of wholeness rather than lack. 2. The ego's role in suffering. Your ego is the master illusionist. It convinces you that your worth is tied to achievements, relationships, and social standing. This false identity thrives on comparison, whispering that others have what you lack. Stoicism calls this the externals game, where we chase validation like dogs chasing cars. Even if caught, it brings no real fulfillment. Watch how the ego operates. It takes neutral events, a delayed text, a missed promotion, and spins them into personal narratives. They're ignoring me, or I'm a failure. These stories then fuel attachments as we scramble to fix how others perceive us. The antidote: cultivate your observer mind, the part of you that can witness thoughts without buying into them. When feeling slighted, pause and ask, is this truly about me, or is this their stuff? Most perceived rejections say more about the other person's inner world than your value. The ego also distorts time, making past rejections feel eternally painful and future scenarios catastrophically uncertain. Ground yourself in the present with sensory exercises. Name 5 things you see, 4 you hear, 3 you feel. This disrupts the ego's melodrama. Practice ego autopsy after emotional reactions. Dissect what part of you felt threatened and why. You'll often find childhood wounds masquerading as current crises. The Stoic sage Epictetus, born a slave, embodied this by declaring, "It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them." Your ego wants you attached to its narratives. Your spirit knows you're more than any single story. 3. Practical detachment techniques. Detachment isn't theoretical. It's a daily practice built through concrete actions. Begin with attachment journaling. Each morning, write down one person you'll consciously detach from that day, noting the emotions that arise. The mental funeral exercise is powerful. Visualize losing what you're attached to and observe how your body responds. You'll discover an innate resilience. For digital detachment, implement notification fasting. Turn off all non-essential alerts for set periods to retrain your brain's dopamine addiction. When anxious about someone's opinion, use the third-person technique. Ask, "What would I advise my best friend in this situation?" This creates psychological distance. The Stoic premeditation of evils prepares you for loss by imagining worst-case scenarios, not to fear them, but to prove you'd adapt. Try the 5-5-5 rule. Ask if this will matter in 5 days, 5 months, 5 years. Most attachments shrink under this lens. Physical symbols help too. Carry a small stone to represent emotional weight, then literally discard it when releasing an attachment. For relationships, set detachment reminders. Alarms labeled "I am whole" at random intervals to disrupt codependent thought patterns. Practice selective indifference, consciously not reacting to minor triggers to strengthen your detachment muscle. Create an attachment altar with items representing what you're releasing, then ritually clear it weekly. Remember Marcus Aurelius' mantra, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. 4. Rebuilding your inner foundation. Detachment leaves space, and nature abhors a vacuum. Without filling this space consciously, old attachments creep back in. Start reconstructing your identity around immutable traits. Are you curious, kind, resilient? List these core qualities separate from roles, parent-employee, or relationships. Develop solo rituals, activities done purely for self-connection, like morning pages or nature walks. The Stoics practice voluntary discomfort, occasionally skipping pleasures to prove they didn't own you. Try a 24-hour digital fast or cold showers. Build your internal resume. Document small wins and growth moments unrelated to external validation. Cognitive behavioral therapy aligns with Stoicism here. Challenge beliefs like, "I'm nothing without X," with evidence. "I've survived every loss so far." Create an emotional emergency kit. Photos, quotes, playlists that recenter you during attachment flares. Study non-attached role models, fictional characters or historical figures who embodied inner-directed strength, like Marcus Aurelius ruling an empire without losing himself. Practice dialectical thinking, holding 2 truths: I care deeply, and I'll be okay regardless. Neuroscientist Donald Hebb's rule, neurons that fire together wire together, means consistent detachment practice literally rewires your brain. Notice attachment's physical cues, clenched jaw, shallow breath, and respond with body-based calming first. Keep a detachment growth log to track progress, not perfection. Over time, you'll develop what the Stoics called ataraxia, tranquility undisturbed by external storms. 5. The freedom of non-attachment. True non-attachment isn't aloofness, it's the ultimate form of love. Imagine holding a bird. Grip too tight, you harm it. Too loose, it flies. This balance is the art of loving without possessing. You'll know you're progressing when others' choices elicit curiosity rather than panic. Relationships become chosen rather than needed. You engage because you want to, not because you're afraid to be alone. This security makes you paradoxically more present and loving, as you're no longer monitoring the relationship for survival cues. Financial detachment manifests as valuing security without hoarding. Knowing resources are tools, not self-worth. Career detachment allows passionate work without staking your identity on titles or praise. Even spiritual beliefs become held lightly. Conviction without crusading. You'll notice synchronicities increasing as desperation decreases. What Jung called the law of detachment. What you release with grace often returns refined. Time perception shifts from anxious counting, how long since they texted, to fluid presence. Physical possessions lose emotional charge. You own them. They don't own you. Creativity flourishes as you detach from outcomes, enjoying the process itself. Even pain is experienced more cleanly, grief without self-pity, anger without righteousness. This is the Stoic ideal, amor fati, love of fate, embracing life's ebbs and flows while anchored in your unshakable core. Like a tree with deep roots, you'll bend in storms without breaking. Ultimately, non-attachment leads to the greatest freedom, being nobody but yourself with nothing to prove or protect. Detachment is the silent superpower behind emotional freedom. It's not about having less love, but less fear. As you practice these principles, you'll notice a profound shift. Where once external events dictated your inner weather, now you carry an unshakable calm. The Stoics weren't promoting emotional suppression, but the liberation that comes when we stop demanding life conform to our preferences. Start small today.